All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Everyone, thank you so much for being here, whether you are watching live or you're watching the replay. My name is Kendra, and I'm known as the boss of hair loss over here on the YouTube. And I'm your go-to guide for all things hair health. And I am so pumped. I'm so excited for my first ever YouTube live. Okay. Tonight we are diving into a topic that's at the heart of every hair journey, and that is figuring out where you are now and how you can make real progress. Okay. So the title of tonight's live is Where Are You on Your hair health journey? And let's find out together. All right. So if you don't know where you are on your journey, or you're trying to figure out what you need to do, what's most important, this live is really going to help you in that. Okay. Let me explain why this is important. So knowing where you stand matters. Okay. Knowing where you stand in your hair health, your hair growth journey matters. All right. So think of it this way. How can you set goals or improve if you don't know what your starting point is? Okay. Every time that I talk to somebody that's dealing with hair loss, dealing with dryness, dealing with scalp issues, we have to start somewhere. We have to have a starting point. Okay. We can't just dive in not knowing where we are currently. Okay. So there's a series of questions that I normally ask, or there are several things that we kind of talk about to figure out where we need to start. So I'm kind of going to do that tonight on tonight's live. And also I'm going to be talking about a new digital product that I've created that's launching at the beginning of October. That's also going to be helpful in your hair care, your hair growth journey. All right. It's going to give you an actual roadmap that will give you a starting point and then kind of help you to stay consistent. All right. So let's walk through some key hair health factors. Okay. So there are a few things. I always talk about scalp health. I always talk about how your scalp is the foundation for healthy hair growth, right? So if you follow me for any amount of time over here on YouTube or on Facebook, I probably got 25 different videos or shorts that talk about scalp health. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but also we're going to talk about two other factors that we need to keep in mind. Okay, so when we think about like our hair health or hair growth, because most of my community members are dealing with hair loss. Okay, so of course they want hair growth. So when we focus on the hair itself, like how it looks, how it feels, how much of it we have, right? The truth is everything starts with the scalp. All right. If your scalp isn't healthy, you know your hair can't thrive, right? And of course, we always compare it to a garden. If the soil isn't fertile, if the soil isn't well maintained, it doesn't matter what you plant, it won't grow strong and healthy. Okay, it'll grow. Like I've grown plants in soil that was not that great, and the plants grew, but they weren't strong, they weren't healthy, they didn't grow to the max or to the best of their ability. Your hair is very much the same. Okay, so what does scalp health really mean? All right, I talk about scalp health. Let's talk about what it actually means. It means having a clean, balanced scalp with healthy oil production. Okay. Our scalp does everything that it needs to do naturally. If everything in our bodies is working as it should, we really don't need to do a whole lot. All right. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. Another thing for healthy scalp is healthy oil production and good circulation. You probably hear a lot of people talk about blood flow to the scalp, circulation to the scalp. That's definitely important because the blood flow to the scalp is how you get the nutrients to the scalp. All right. So if your scalp is too dry, too oily, has buildups from products that you use, if you sweat a lot, your pores can get clogged, and this prevents new growth. But as much as I talk about scalp health, that's only a small part of the picture. Your hair needs the right nutrients to grow and stay strong. So if you think about nutrients or vitamins, you have vitamins A, C, D, and E. We always know about biotin, zinc. These are all things that your hair needs, not just to grow, but so that all of the processes that are happening underneath the scalp are happening at optimal levels. Okay. So if you're skipping out on nutritious foods, you know what? You're not drinking enough water. You know what? You are missing out. Your hair is missing out on the fuel that it needs to flourish. So that's one of the things that I ask a lot. How much water are you drinking? Our bodies require so much water. All of the processes and functions in our body require so much water. And all right, so let's move on. Now, let's talk about the other things. So I talked about scalp health. I talked about nutrition. The other thing I want to talk about briefly is stress. Okay, stress might feel like it's something that we cannot avoid. It is not. But if you're just stressed periodically, that's okay. That's normal. Okay, our bodies can deal with that. But constantly being under stress can have real physical effects on the body. I'm sure many of you know that. And your hair is included. So when you're stressed, your body produces a stress hormone called cortisol. Cortisol can throw off your hair growth cycle. Okay. This can lead to more shedding or even hair loss over time. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, or you know that you're stressed out, or you know your body, you know how your body feels when you're stressed, it could definitely be affecting your hair more than you think. All right. So all of these things, like I said, scalp care, nutrition, and stress are all connected, and they can either help or hurt your hair health. But the good news is that once you understand these things and how they work together, you can start making changes to help impact your hair growth in a positive way. All right, so now I want to get a little bit of viewer interaction. So I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and let me know if you are dealing with any specific hair issues, whether it's dryness, breakage, or you just feel like your hair isn't growing. Okay, and my take on that is your hair is always growing. Okay, but if you are having some specific issues, let's talk about it. Because listen, I've had hair loss from all of these issues. Everything that I'm telling you, everything that I talk about, I've dealt with in some way. And then even like with the customers that I talk to or help on a regular basis, I hear this stuff all the time. All right. And those of you that do not know me, or you may be here for the first time, I have been in the hair care industry for over 10 years. I've been a hair salon owner. I used to sell hair extensions, so I've seen it from both sides, women wearing extensions to hide hair loss. And then I started making products to help, the women that are dealing with the hair loss. And I started using herbs and oils from my home. And that's kind of how the 180 hair collection got started. Okay. So lots of experience in helping people with their hair loss issues. And I normally go beyond just hair loss. So usually it's something else, because hair loss is a symptom. It's not a problem. One thing, when we talk about dryness, dry hair is one of the most common complaints, okay? Especially for those of us with natural or textured hair. If you are struggling with dryness, the solution can be twofold, okay? Hydration from the inside and moisture from the outside. Okay, now we can hydrate on the outside as well, but it's more important to make sure we are hydrating from the inside. Okay, so make sure, like I said, you are getting enough water. Dehydration doesn't just affect your skin, it affects your hair and scalp too. So people normally say 8 glasses of water a day. My little formula is you take your weight, you divide it by 2, and you drink that much in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you need to drink 100 ounces of water. Okay. That's just kind of my rule of thumb, because to tell somebody 8 glasses, like how much is 8 glasses? I don't even know what 8 glasses is in ounces. So if you're thinking about it in ounces, take your weight, divide it by 2, divide it in half, and drink that much in ounces. Okay. So from the outside, you'll want to use products that lock in moisture. Okay. So things like aloe vera, aloe vera, vegetable glycerin, oils like avocado, jojoba oil. These are great for sealing in hydration. So you want to add the hydration with something like aloe vera or rose water, or, plain water is fine, but you need to seal that moisture in. And you'll need to use an oil to seal. Okay, so you can use a leave-in conditioner or a hair mist, and that would help. So again, our Spray and Go leave-in conditioning mist does just that. So this will give you your hydration from the outside. Now you can use this and still seal with an oil. This does have some oil in it, But when you use this, I would recommend, if you are someone that's dealing with extreme dryness, once you use this, follow it with a light oil. Okay. That'll just help to kind of seal that moisture in, and do that for at least 10 days, and you should start seeing some difference, but you have to be consistent. You have to do it every day. Okay. So that's my take on dryness. All right. Um, so breakage. If anybody is dealing with breakage, this is also a result of hair that's dry, but breakage usually happens when your hair becomes weak and brittle. And this is often due to over manipulation. So if you're somebody that does your hair in these different styles, or you get braids and things all the time, you're always doing something to your hair, not letting it rest, not putting it away, not doing protective styling the right way, this can lead to breakage. Also, harsh chemicals. If you do dyes or colors a lot, if you do chemical relaxers more often than you should, again, you can have healthy hair with a relaxer. Okay. But once you start over relaxing, you leave them on too long, or you get them too often, and you're not getting it done properly, that can also lead to breakage. All right. So when you're experiencing that, the way to combat that is strengthening and protecting your hair. So first, when I talk about over manipulation or over manipulating your hair, you need to think about like how often you're doing that. So heat styling is another thing I didn't mention. And tight hairstyles can stress your hair out. Okay. Can stress your strands out. So of course you want to make sure you're doing protective styles that are actually protecting your hair. Okay. All protective styles are not protective, especially if they are way too tight. All right. Again, nutrients, make sure your hair is getting the nutrients it needs to stay strong. Protein treatments are great to add strength to your hair and to help it to resist breakage. Now, this is not something that you have to do often, but you should incorporate it into your hair routine at least every month and a half. Okay, I wouldn't do too much protein, because then your hair gets it gets hard. Protein can make your hair get really kind of hard, so you don't want to do too much. I would say every 6 weeks, so about every month and a half. And then, of course, regular trims. I know a lot of people don't like to get their hair trimmed because they think trimming their hair, they lose the length. But remember, your hair does not grow from the ends, it grows from the roots. So trimming the ends is just making sure that your ends stay healthy, because if your ends are dry or split or damaged, you're not going to retain the length or keep the length anyway. So make sure you're doing that. Getting rid of split ends helps prevent breakage from traveling up. And if it travels up, then you're going to end up having to cut more hair anyway. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Now let's go back to stress. One more time for the stress. Stress and hair loss. Okay. Now it is the silent culprit behind so many hair issues, especially hair loss. And you might not even realize it, because the crazy thing about hair loss when it comes to stress is it doesn't always happen at the time of the stress. So you might be going through a stressful situation, and then 3 months later or 2 months later, you notice that your hair is coming out. And if we don't make the correlation, or we don't understand how the hair growth cycle works, then we may be looking all over the place trying to figure out what we need to buy, what we need to do to get our hair to stop falling out. But just understand that it's a delayed reaction. It's a delayed response. So once you recognize that if you're having stress, that your hair can be affected, you can take steps to help reduce it. Okay. And you would have to reduce it at the time of the stress, not at the time of the hair loss. But at the time of stress, there are a lot of things you can do. You can do yoga, mindfulness practices, meditation, taking a few moments a day to go outside, take some deep breaths, get grounded, take your shoes off, put your feet in the dirt, in the grass. Like, these things really help. Get some sun, some natural vitamin D. Those of you that follow me on Facebook notice that I exercise 5 to 6 days a week. I don't do it just to stay in shape. That is literally how I reduce the stress. That is literally my outlet for stress. And I'm not even under a lot of stress, but I just like that it keeps me, it helps to keep me feeling strong, and it helps to keep me feeling healthy. so that when those stressful situations come, it doesn't affect me as easily. Okay. So you can do something that's just a 30-minute walk every day. That would definitely help. Okay. And the other thing about exercise is it gets that blood circulating, gets that blood flowing. Remember we talk about the blood flow to the scalp? What better way to get blood flow is to get your heart pumping so that it's getting the blood to every part of your body. All right. Whew, I feel like I said a lot. Any questions so far? I've been talking a lot. So again, during stressful times, focus on scalp massages. That helps to increase the blood flow if you can't get out to do any exercising. Essential oils like lavender, peppermint, those are good. They help calm your mind and help to boost circulation at the same time. Just make sure you are diluting those, okay? All right. Ms. Woodman says, how long should you leave protective styles up? I say no longer than 4 to 6 weeks. No longer than 4 to 6 weeks. Some people will argue that because I know a lot of people that wear, and I'm sorry I keep looking down because I have my screen here. So I'm looking at the comments, but my camera is up here. So forgive me for looking crazy. But some people would probably argue, that they could go longer or that they have gone longer, and that the longer you leave your hair up, the more it grows, and the dirtier your hair is, the more it grows. But that doesn't work for everybody. If that works for you, that's great. But I feel like the older we get, those some of those tactics just don't work. You know what I'm saying? So I would say 4 to 6 weeks. Just make sure if you're not doing anything else, you are keeping your scalp clean, or you are doing something, you know, to nourish your scalp while you have your protective style, or you have your style in. Okay. So I wanted to talk really quickly about a digital resource that I have launching in the beginning of October. The Emergency Haircare Planner is going to help create a simple, consistent routine, and it's going to address things like nutrition. There's a section in the planner that tells you exactly what foods you should eat for specific vitamins and nutrients and minerals that your hair needs. Okay. It also has some stress management techniques. It has some DIY recipes. I mean, it's really an awesome tool that you can use over and over and over again. If you start off, so what happens in the planner is you take a quiz. Okay, you take a quiz, and then the quiz gives you you get a personalized score, and based on your score, it gives you what your hair health score is, and it starts from excellent to good to moderate to needs improvement. So wherever your score lands, there's a section in the book for each hair health score, and you'll go to that section and you'll have all the information that you need in order to create or set goals, create a routine, and then stay consistent. And then also in the planner, there's a section, like I said, for nutrition, stress management, and ingredient recommendations. So like I said, that's launching October 2nd as of right now. So about 2 more weeks, maybe a little less. I look forward to sharing that with you guys. I'm so excited about that. Before you dip up out of here, if you're not subscribed, please do so. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. That's my first milestone. If I can get to 500, then I can get to 1,000. Okay. So once again, thank you all for being here. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I will definitely be back next Thursday with more information. I'll be more prepared to talk about the planner that's launching on the 2nd of October. And be sure to check out the website. So I pinned it up top, 180hair.com. If you are not ready to purchase a product, check out the reviews, check out the digital resources. I have a free ebook on there that you could check out, absolutely free. And then if you are just interested in the products, go ahead and look at those and check out the reviews and see what others are saying. Okay. All right. So until next Thursday, you all take care and have a great weekend.